Hi, I'm Robert from Lwflowers. Most people call me the flower guy. Today we're going to put together a simple bridal bouquet using some roses, a little bit of hydrangea, and some pink bovardia. So when you get it from your wholesaler or the store, where you're going to get it from, it's basically going to come in packages. The bovardia is always 10 stems per bunch. We're going to use a pink. The roses, these ones are a garden rose. They're called hearts. They're a very, very deep red, almost black, but a deep red. And then some white hydrangea just to help hold it together and to base the arrangement, to base the bouquet. Pretty simple bridal bouquet that most people can do. So just we'll get the flowers pulled out, get them cleaned up a little bit. These runners on the bovardia you're not going to need, you're not going to use. I'm really looking for the color on the top, so I'm going to pull those. Just again, clean them up because we're probably going to use this whole bunch. Hopefully we have enough. Oops, broken boutonniere. If you ever break any pieces like this, don't throw them away because they'll become part of your boutonniere. If you were to make a bridal bouquet and keep all these runners on, it would just take up too much space. In an arrangement, you could keep those on, but for purposes of wedding work, oops, corsage. I guess I'm beating these things up a little bit, but. Since the roses are going to be your focal, you really just want to use this as a filler and to help separate the roses between themselves. The hydrangeas, most of them are pulled, so we're just going to use these to start as a base, as a foundation for the roses. So again, I'm going to pull these off. That for your boutonnieres and corsages. This is how your roses will come if you get the roses. Again, this is a 50 centimeter stem. They're a garden rose, so they'll open really large. They're called hearts because the heads and the petals are shaped like a heart. So they're in the red category, but they're a really, really, really deep red. So many ways to strip roses. This is one of the old strippers from 30 years ago. I still use them. There's a lot of people that say not to use these, but I used them for 30 years and they seem to do fine. So I'm going to take most of the foliage off. Now in the roses you're going to have a long bunch and you're going to have an inner layer that's a shorter bunch. So I'm going to separate them in sizes. I like to use the longer ones on top, the shorter ones on the bottom. This to me is a neat little $10, $7 tool. Saves a bunch of time. You know, when you're stripping these, you really just want to get the thorns off. So there's all kinds of studies out there about, there's your boutonniere. All kinds of studies about how tearing the stem, they don't drink, blah, blah, blah. And I'll tell you, it's always worked fine for me. So I don't know who came up with the idea that these don't work as well as picking them off and leaving the thorns on, but it just doesn't seem to be an issue. And again, for a bridal bouquet, who wants to hold on to those thorns? Now this is just going to be a quick little hand tie, so we'll probably use you know, close to 18 roses for this bouquet. So I don't usually, you know, the cost of flowers wholesale, why skimp on them? Use what you need. The roses will always come with their outer guard petals, so you just want to peel the guard petals off because they'll have the damage, they'll have the browning on them. So just peel them off and you get down. You can see where you see a little bit more of the red color, but they're still really a dark rose. So if you need a Christmas red, you're doing your wedding and you need a Christmas red, this is not the flower. I would use a Freedom or one of the other roses, Forever Young. If you're going to match a black or a burgundy, I would use this one. It's called Hearts. It's rated as a garden rose, but you can also use Black Magics or Black Back Rose if you need them really dark. All roses are shipped like this. All of them. When they come in right from the grower, this is one thing that when you buy a retail arrangement in a flower shop, this is one thing that the florists do there before they make the arrangement is they prep your flowers, cut the stems, put them in water, peel the guard petals, and so when you buy an arrangement at a flower shop and you get a finished product, that's all the cleanup work. So if you do plan on doing your own wedding and you're going to buy these, you know, buy stuff directly from the grower or grocery stores or wherever you're going to buy them, plan on having them clean them up. But the cost savings is huge. So when I prep these out, I don't know how many I'm going to use, so I just decide to, I just do them all at one time. Might be some of the flowers that I don't like, so then when I've got it in my hand, I don't have to worry about having to clean them up. So out of here, I'll usually look at them, pull a nicer one that I want to use, for one of the top focal flowers, which it would be that one. That one's opening really nice. So I'll kind of use those for my top three. And I tend to use a lot of hydrangeas. I like to use hydrangeas to base all of my bouquets. It helps to fill them out. It helps to give it some depth. So again, you're just going to do it like any European mix, and take the roses and just kind of weave them into the hydrangeas. And again, the hydrangeas are just being used as a base for your bouquet. You're going to want to cross the stems so they stay together. You'll only get a pretty good grip on them because you're going to squish them together. But again, the bovardia is just going to be used for color. We're going to say that this is a pink and red wedding. Again, just work your way around, you know, the bouquet with the flowers. If you're buying the roses from, you know, the store, from Costco, or wherever you might be buying them, Albertsons, they're inexpensive enough that you don't need to really cut back on the amount that you might want to buy due to cost. So I saw I peeled a little bit of that off because it was just a little bit too big. So I'm just putting it up against there. Basically, again, it's going to just base the roses, give it some fullness so you can work with it. You're not going to see a lot of the hydrangeas except for around the outer edge. but it does give you the fullness, kind of the 3D look around the around it. So I always like to use it. Then you don't see the stems. Again, just gonna use that bovardia, fill it up in there. Well, if you're doing these in your hand like this, you can kind of move them around, and you just want to give it a nice, a nice shape to it with your flowers. While you're doing these, like I said, these roses come 25 stems to a bunch. So, if you're doing them, you might as well figure that for like the bridal bouquet, that you're going to use the whole bunch or close to it. So, you can see we still got some hydrangea poking around there. So, you can use it that way if you want to just pick up the color. You can take the rest of these hydrangeas, peel those off for your boutonnieres. And that kind of gives it a flat side too, to put up against, your roses, so you can, so it kind of will sit a little bit flatter in the bouquet. So here we've used about 16, 18 roses in this, and I think we're going to get pretty close to being done. I just want to make sure that it's fairly round and no flat sides on it. So after you get done with this, you've got a nice base of your hydrangeas around the outside. If you're not going to use any greens, you still have some color here. There's your bouquet. Again, I always use rubber bands to tie these down, because if you use wire, the stems are gonna dry out and the flowers are gonna fall apart. So you don't want to use a lot of wire around the neck, because you want everything to stay. I could use some greens around here. If you like seeded eucalyptus, you can put some greens. If not, you can keep it just like that. It's simple. I'm gonna give these stems a cut. There you go. Pick a stem. You want to scoot this rubber band as far up the neck as you can, because you want it to stay together. Pull your rubber band tight, wrap it around the neck, and then you come back and tie it off with another stem of flowers, and that's going to hold your bouquet. So right there, you pretty well got 20 roses done in your bouquet. And if you cut these, you can actually keep these stored in a vase of water until the wedding. So from this point on, if you wanted to put ribbon around here, you can put your ribbon around here. You can tie a bow on here. You can do a lot of things to decorate up the stems. But for this purposes, that's basically it. There's a couple dozen roses. These are called hearts. They're deep red garden rose. We used a bunch of 25, with a few left over. We used a bunch of pink bovardia and 5 stems of white hydrangeas. So it's a red rose bridal bouquet, and thank you very much. It's Robert at Lwflowers.